Hello everyone, I'm Zhixuan Fang from Tsinghua University. My talk today is about loyalty programs in the sharing economy, optimality, and competition. It is a joint work with my advisor, Professor MobiHoc, and Professor Andrew Williams from Caltech. My talk consists of the following parts: motivation, model, results, and summary. Let's begin with the motivation part. So the sharing economy has now arrived in our daily life. With these sharing platforms, you can get a ride, use a bike, find accommodations, and more. In fact, Didi Chuxing, the biggest ride-sharing platform in China, sees more than 20 million rides in a single day. They even got more orders than Alibaba in a single day. That's a huge amount of orders. Essentially, the idea of sharing is all about connecting demand to spare assets and spare resources. Since there are many idle resources around us, then sharing is probably the best way to utilize them. And the industry is actually growing very fast. It is estimated that by 2025, the revenue of the sharing industry will reach more than $300 billion per year. However, there are still some problems in the emerging industry, such as insufficient supply, not enough drivers, and low platform profit, and inactive user participation. That's the reason why platforms are now adopting subsidy programs to attract those drivers. So for example, in this figure, we see that Uber is announcing a startup bonus up to $600 for those new registered drivers. And all these problems lead to one key question, that is, how to price and subsidize optimally. And I showed you some attempts by Uber and Lyft in this slide. They both adopt some subsidy programs, loyalty programs to those drivers, and they even give them the same name, Power Driver. The idea is basically to reward those drivers with some extra monies when they reach some certain trip milestones. But we actually don't know whether this kind of program is the optimal, and we also don't know what are the optimal values for this bonus. And I also list some most concerned questions related to this topic, such as how are suppliers responding to loyalty program, and what is the optimal loyalty program in monopoly, and how well does it perform in platform competition? I will answer these questions in the following slides. And let's get to the related work. So many work have been done related to this topic. Our work is mostly related to empirical studies in the shared economy, analytical studies on two-sided market, and analysis in pricing in the platform. But our work differs in that we have first to consider the optimal sharing subsidy program. And we consider heterogeneous users with general concave benefit functions versus the previously considered identical users with linear utility or constant user values. And we consider game-based asymmetric two-sided market model versus the previously considered IID user values. And they take actions independently. Okay, so here's the model part. I'll show you the big picture before we go into details. There exist some suppliers, consumers, and a platform in the market. Suppliers own their products, and they can choose either to share their products or use the products by themselves. And consumers will pay to use the products. So for example, suppliers are the Uber drivers and consumers are the Uber passengers. So the idea is that the consumer rent either resources from supplier through the platform. That means the consumers pay money Q for per unit usage of the resources to the platform. And then the platform will pay P for per unit shared resources by the suppliers. And here beta denotes the commission fee ratio charged by the platforms. It's the gap between the incoming money Q and outgoing money P. But we take a step forward to consider the subsidies in this picture. So the platform can now pay some extra bonus, B of S here, called loyalty programs, to reward those active drivers. The bonus is paid according to the driver's sharing level S, and the B of S here stands for the marginal bonus. So specifically, the supplier's utility will be the sum of the following terms. The first is the benefit from self-usage. That is the benefit that the driver gets from using the products by himself. It is assumed to be a concave and differentiable function, the function f here. And x is the self-usage value, which is normalized within 0 and 1. It's decided by the driver himself. And the second term here is the sharing income of the driver. It's defined as the product of price, P, and the sharing level, SI. So here we actually assume that the suppliers will meet consumers with probability 1 when he gets online. That means in the long-term average. Because that we are considering a situation where supply is insufficient, since loyalty programs is mostly needed when supply is insufficient. And the last term here is the bonus received by the supplier from the platform. And the bonus is defined as the integration of the marginal bonus B over all the sharing level. And we can see that the self-usage X and the sharing level S sum up to 1. So what suppliers need to do is to decide the proper self-usage level and sharing level to optimize his utility. And we consider two cases in this situation. First is homogeneous market, where each supplier has the same utility function Fx. And the second case is heterogeneous market. That means each supplier has different utility function. And we assume that the derivatives are differentiated, so we can order it by 1, 2 to n. And by owner I, we mean the group I of owners, so or type I of owners. So there can be arbitrarily many owners in that group. And here's the platform's revenue. It is defined as the gap between the incoming money from consumers and the outgoing money to suppliers, minus the total bonus payment to the drivers. The platform's goal is to maximize his own revenue. So, okay, here are the results. We'll first analyze the supplier's trade-off on sharing and self-usage. So let's look at the utility function of drivers. The first term is the self-usage benefit F, and we'll plot the marginal benefit of self-usage, which is the derivative of F. Since it is a concave function, so the derivative is decreasing in the self-usage level. Okay, so let's consider the first two terms in the utility. Suppose the platform is introducing a fixed price program, and the platform sets the price to be 10. Then we'll see that the driver will choose to share at the intersection point of the price 10 and the self-usage marginal. That's about sharing 60% of its product online and use what's left, 40% of its products by himself. The reason is that if he shares a little bit more, for example, he shares at 20 at the left one at 20%, use 20% and share 80% of its product, he'll find that the marginal of self-usage is higher than the price of 10. So it's more beneficial to use the products by himself. On the other hand, if he shares a little bit more, for example, he used 80% of his product, but share only about 20% of his product, and he finds that the price of sharing, which is 10, is higher than the self-usage margin. So eventually he will decide to share at the intersection point and gets the utility of this area. So the idea is that the supplier will choose intersection points to balance marginal incomes. Now we can consider all these three terms in the utility function and introducing some general bonus function here, for example, like this. So in this example, the blue curve is the bonus. So it says that the platform is encouraging drivers and paying rewards slowly increasing when they are sharing only 20% above. And the bonus is increasing rapidly when the driver share about half of its products. And at the end, if the driver share about 80% of its products, the reward is again increasing slowly. So now we see that the bonus can be very general and complex. We want to see if there exists some easy programs that commits the optimal revenue. So let's start with the homogeneous market. We define the linear logic program, which is policy pays a constant bonus fee for per unit sharing to those who reach the threshold. In this case, the utility of the drivers will be the sum of self-usage F, the share income PS, and the linear bonus above threshold. So this figure shows the payment per unit to the drivers. So before the driver reaches the trip threshold, he gets P for per unit sharing. And after that, he gets P plus bonus for per unit sharing. And let's plot the bonus and the self-usage together. We'll see that the driver in this case will share at the intersection point of bonus and the self-usage. That's about sharing 70% of its products online. And this shows that the linear loyalty program does increase the driver's sharing level. because without this program and the platform sets the price to be 10, then the driver will share only 60% of its product. That's the S0 there. So, and the following theorem shows that LLP actually achieves the maximum revenue over all subsidy programs in the monopoly market. And the optimal bonus satisfies the simple condition that B equals Q minus P. That is the gap between the incoming money and outgoing money. So the idea is that before the driver reaches the threshold, he gets P, base payment P, for each unit sharing. And after he reaches the threshold, the platform does not charge any commission fee. And note that this result is independent of the form of fx. We can take a step forward to see the whole picture. So, and we show that the maximum platform revenue is achieved by letting the base payment P to be 0 and the bonus P to be Q. In this case, the platform pays nothing before driver reaches the threshold, and after that, he will charge nothing. The reason that the platform can pay nothing to drivers is because we didn't assume costs for the drivers in his utility function. If he has some kind of costs, such as gasoline or tax, then the platform should at least cover this cost. Otherwise, no one is participating in the program. Okay, so the story of the homogeneous market is basically done, so let's extend the results to the heterogeneous market. And we can start with definition, a multi-threshold loyalty program, which is an extension of the previous version. And it is an n-threshold linear loyalty program with corresponding bonus and thresholds. So this is the single threshold loyalty program shown in the previous slide, and we extend it to a multi-threshold version. So it has 3 threshold bonus and 2 owner groups in the market. And the following theorem actually shows that the MTLP also achieves optimal revenue among all loyalty programs in a heterogeneous market. That means MTLP actually reduces the search space of optimal scheme. But we still need to find out an easy to implement program. So we take a closer look at the bonus structure here. Consider 3 bonus threshold and 3 owners group. So we'll see that there are actually more users in the earlier stage. So here, owner 1, F1 here, is relatively busier than other 2 guys because he has a relatively higher self-usage margin. And at the first stage of bonus, all these 3 guys are enjoying the bonus because they all have intersection points with the bonus curve. And at the second bonus level, only owner 2 and owner 3 is enjoying the bonus because owner 1 finds it more beneficial to use the products for himself. And then at the highest level, only owner 3 is enjoying the bonus. And this guy has plenty of time to share on the platform. And actually, he shares about 90% of the time on the platform. So inspired by this idea, we introduced the hyperbolic bonus, which pays the bonus according to a harmonic function. So the example is that the first level of bonus equals Q over 3, and the second bonus is half of the Q. And the highest bonus is D equals Q. And note that the reason that drivers are participating in the loyalty program is because they find it more beneficial to share more. So the platform should at least cover the opportunity costs for these drivers switching from self-usage to sharing. That means the lower bound of the subsidies paid to the drivers should be their opportunity costs. And we proved that the amount of over-subsidization under HB program is upper bounded by Q. So HB only pays a constant above the lower bound. That means it is cost efficient, it saves money for the platform. And we'll see the performance of HB program in the later slides or explanation. And then we expand the results to competitive market. We consider a 2-platform, 2-owner group situation. The 2-platform situation is common because both in US and China, we have Lyft and Uber in US and we have Didi and Uber in China. And 2-owner group is reasonable because we can always categorize users into 2 groups, active and inactive. So the owner 1 and owner 2 in the market. And the utility function is defined as the sum of self-usage, the shared income from platform A, and the shared income from platform B. And we assume that the utility function of owner 1 is k times the utility of owner 2. K here represents the heterogeneity between these two groups of users. If K is large, that means these two groups of users are highly differentiated. And if K is small, that means they are more similar, more homogeneous. And consider platform A and platform B. So we assume that platform B is somehow stronger than platform A, in that it can set a higher consumer price, QB, but it can still attract enough consumers. It could be because platform B has a better service, better quality of service, better efficiency in matching, or it's just more famous, so consumers are more likely to go to platform B. And in this case, the platform B can offer some higher price for drivers, so PB is also higher than PA. So platform A is having a hard time in the competition. But we want to show that actually the loyalty programs can help the weaker one to survive in the market. Before showing the results, we'll introduce a sign-up bonus for comparison. The sign-up bonus is a one-time bonus pays fixed amount reward to drivers, and it is assumed to be exclusive. That means if the user is taking the sign-up bonus from platform A, it is not allowed for him to share on platform B simultaneously. In this case, the utility function will be the sum of self-usage, sharing income from platform A, and the one-time bonus from platform A. And then we have the linear loyalty program we showed in the previous slides, which is a threshold-based program that pays linear bonus after threshold, and it is provably exclusive. That means linear loyalty program guarantees that drivers will stick to one platform if he enters this program, because he finds more beneficial to share all resources on the same platform. The interesting thing is that both Lyft, Uber, and Didi introduces the sign-up bonus at first in the earlier stage in the sharing economy, and then they both switch to the kind of linear loyalty program. And Uber and Lyft basically switch at the same time. Like I said, they even give them the same name. So we want to see how can these things happen. So we calculate all the optimal strategies under different situations here, but now I only give you the results. So if platform A is weaker than platform B, but platform A adopts linear bonus here and platform B adopts no loyalty programs, then the weaker one, platform A, can still manage to get all the market share and win both groups of owners. And similarly, if platform A is adopting sign-up bonus, but platform B is adopting no loyalty programs, then the one with sign-up bonus can again win all the market. But if platform A and platform B are symmetric, they are equally attractive to users. But platform A adopts linear bonus and platform B adopts sign-up bonus. They fight directly against each other. Then the one with linear bonus will take the whole market, and the guy with sign-up bonus will end up with zero revenue. That is because linear bonus is actually better than sign-up bonus, since linear bonus can encourage people to share more, but sign-up bonus only encourages the participation. And if both platforms are symmetric and they use the same program, they will undercut each other and end up with zero revenue. That's the triangle there. Okay, so here are the numeric results. So the picture on the top shows that the HB program actually achieves a near optimal revenue. And the figure at the bottom shows that the HB program only pays a constant above opportunity cost. And then in this figure, it shows that when platform B and platform A are competing against each other, but platform B is stronger in that its price is higher than platform A. And the platform A adopting linear bonus will yield a higher revenue than platform A adopting sign-up bonus. And here is the figure showing that under such two-platform competition, the optimal linear loyalty program of platform A under different heterogeneity K. When K is small, that means the two groups of users are similar. The best strategy for platform A is to attract both groups of owners and win all of them. And if K is become larger, and the heterogeneity is high, then the best strategy for platform A is to set the fixed value bonus to focus on only one group of users. That is exactly the same as the result we showed in the previous slides that E equals Q. So it means that small user heterogeneity leads to winner-takes-all situation in the platform competition, while substantial user heterogeneity leads to both survival of the platforms. Okay, and the summary part, supplier shares and section points of marginal benefits from sharing and self-usage. And multi-threshold loyalty program achieves optimal platform revenue. And high user heterogeneity reduces platform competition.